my proudest things. One of the time was opening the magazine and seeing a picture of a bunch of guys taking I think it was a 8 or 10 way out of a plane, and just looked beautiful, flying it right down the hill, and out they came, and there's their first point, just like that, which is what we were going for. And we just couldn't pulling a 10 way out of a DC-3 door and boop, flying it out. But we tried hard, and it was a lot of fun trying it. Just like when we were trying to figure out relative work in the early 70s, because nobody was around to show us how to do it, and we'd go up and zoom around, and then what worked, what didn't work. Well, you noticed when reach for grips, you went backwards. Okay. I noticed do this, and eventually it started working little by little, and we'd talk about, okay, let's do that again and not do that, and it took forever, but when things started working, it was real satisfying, because it's like, okay, we're getting it slowly. And I remember one of the guys, I think it was Bill Daisy, said, man, says, if we ever figure this out, he says, think how much time we're going to save the next group, because they won't have to go through all the stuff we went through. We can just tell them what to do, and then they can jump with us, and they won't have to go through all this stuff. It'll take them so many fewer jumps than it did us. And it's like, yeah, right. Pass it along, which is of course what happened, and probably every drop zone was like that too. But a part of the thrill in those days, in those early 70s, was figuring out relative work, which was a whole new thing. You know, all the guys that brought us up were style and accuracy guys, and so we did style and accuracy starting out too. Well, the first time somebody pinned me in free fall, and I looked around and I saw a guy floating on the air with a big grin on his face and came in and grabbed me, it was like eureka, you know. And then we started doing that, and it's like, this is such a special thing anyway, falling through the sky, and to share it with your friends is even better, you know. And boy, RW, that's what I want to do. The hell with that style and accuracy, even though I respected those guys and they were our leaders, but this is a lot more fun than that. Landing my round downwind into the pea gravel, hoping I hit the pea gravel, you know, well, that wasn't as much fun as holding hands with your buddies up in the sky with the clouds zipping by and stuff, you know. So I've been a RW jumper ever since. Of course, the sport's changed and is changing, and that was always part of the thrill too. There's different kinds of skydiving, and just when you think, what else could we do? Something else. And all through the years it's been something like that, whether it's been 3D dives or, you know, hybrid dives, now wingsuiting, and all the different innovations, types of skydiving. Sequential, after it came, when I saw BJ's films with Charlie Greenfield from here in the Midwest, was on there. We're all real proud of him. They go out to Arizona and start turning points, 16-way with colored jumpsuits. And back then it was before video, so the films would go around the country. And I was at some meet in Florida, and they go, hey, we got a new film about this BJ's team out west. And we sat down, put it on, and here these guys are flying diamonds around and redocking them, and it's like, whoa. So that was new, sequential. Not only just make one point, but you can do more than one. You know, it's like, whoa, let's try this. You know, just stuff like that. It was always, you know, like I say, 3D dives. Some stuff has come and gone, don't do it anymore, but it was all fun trying something new. The sport's always been changing, and I assume it always will. There's new stuff now. You know, the head down thing, when it started, I always found it really amusing, because by this time I'm older and my friends are older, and the new guys are doing the head down thing, kind of looking down on us belly flyers like we did the style and accuracy guys, thinking, well, we're on the cutting edge because we're doing the head down stuff. And I understand it completely. And with the style and accuracy guys, there was a bit of acrimonious tension sometimes. And this is not anything like that. You know, people were going, oh, we all put on our rig one leg strap at a time, and blah, blah, blah. We're all skydivers, which of course is true. But some of the head downers, you know, look at us older guys and belly flyers, you know, and it's really humorous. We talk about that too, about it's just like the same thing, you know. We're the old guard now rather than the cutting edge that we were in the 70s, and now these guys are the cutting edge, and it's great. It's great. And when they, you know, then they did that first 100-way head down record, amazing. It's like, how cool is that? And of course, they're going so much faster than we are. They have less working time. And what a challenge and what an accomplishment, and we're all thrilled for them, and it's totally cool, you know, totally cool. So anyway, I started you know, with the RW thing, usually at weekend boogies, the last load of the weekend was try for a bigger formation, the big formation. You know, whether it was a 20-way or a 16-way or whatever. And of course, everybody wanted on the big load. So you stand around like sandlot football, and they pick people, and you're standing there wanting to be picked. And sometimes you made it, sometimes you didn't. And, you know, I remember thinking, "Oh man, I'm better than she is." Well, she's banging the organizer, and thinking, "Well, I'm better than that guy is." Well, he's got the cocaine, you know. And I kept thinking, well, one of these days, talent is going to come out. They're going to notice I'm decent. Of course, I don't know if I was that decent at that time. I thought I was good enough, and so after a while, I started getting on those loads, those bigger loads, and I liked being on the bigger loads. I found it challenging and more people to share it with, and a lot of fun. And also, I got a tip early on. I'm 6'3" and kind of skinny, always have been. So somebody taught me a trick on exit about riding the prop blast and then zipping into your dive. So instead of diving from the door to the formation, you're getting kicked back over them and then dive straight down, and you get there a lot quicker. Well, it worked out, paid off, and I started getting known as a decent diver. So I started getting to go towards the end of these formation loads, which was great for me because I loved that. I loved the speed and going last and or towards the end, and joining up these larger formations. So years go by and the formations get bigger and bigger. In Z Hills in I think it was 75 maybe, or yeah, it was 75 I believe, at the turkey meet. They're trying to do a 40-way box for a new world record, and National Enquirer was sponsoring the dives, and I wasn't on the initial list, but I was lurking the load, so I'd go over there and hang out and try to get on the load. And, you know, they were axing people here and there. And towards the end of it, I got the call, okay, get on the load, here's your slot. And I don't even remember who was organizing that at that time. It might have been Nick Lucas. Probably was Nick Lucas. I don't know if Bird had a hand in that or not, but anyway, 40-way box would be the new world record. So out we go. I'm on my way down. I'm diving, not at last, but last third of the load. And about halfway down there, somebody lands on my back and takes us both out. Knocked both of us went below the level of the formation. Well, I'm wearing my Sphincter Brothers suit, which was a bright yellow, orangish yellow, with these stripes down the side, but it's very obvious in the sky. So here I am below the formation in this easily identifiable jumpsuit. And luckily, I wasn't the only one out. There were 47 in on that. The guy that hit me didn't get in, and there was somebody else went low. But there I was down there, and they all knew it was me. And when we landed, Dick Jeruso came over and said, "Hey, Pig, it's been nice jumping with you." And it was 2 years before I could get on these big loads again. 2 years to live that down, and before I started getting on the loads. And then it picked up again. And this progressed. I ran the drop zone that was at Mooresville, Parachutes and Associates, in 79. Well, we had the Sphincter Brother 10-way team in 75 and 76. After the great schism at Tahlequah Nationals in 76, where the West Coast teams filed protest, about holding on exits versus single file exits, and they won. And then we're going, well, what are we going to do? Do it the way we've been practicing all year or not? We decided to go ahead and do it like we did and protest if they disqualified us. So did Exodus, and we both got disqualified. Exodus would have won the Nationals that year, except for the linked exit thing. To their credit, Slots from DeLand changed their exit at the last minute to do single file, even though it was different than everything they've been practicing all season. So they adapted to the rules and did it that way. Circle of Fear, which was from the East Coast someplace, decided to hold on, and one time the judges missed one of their exits. They filed a protest saying if the Sphincter Brothers are going to get disqualified every round, we ought to be disqualified too, because we've been holding on, because they gave them a clean score on one round. It turned into a circus, the Nationals that year, and it basically tore our team up. People, we put all this time and money in it, and this is what we get disqualified. We can't even compete. It was a bitter pill to swallow. We had a Sphincter Brother 4-way team at the Nationals in 78, which was in Indiana, Richmond, Indiana. And that was great. We did pretty well in 4-way and in the 4-way track. And the next year, 79, Branch asked me to be the drop zone manager. So I said, okay. So I ran the place in 79. And then when that year was over, they wanted me back, but it had just about burned me out like a dumbass. Instead of jumping my ass off, like, because my jumps were free, I was wound up, packing reserves and doing drop zone manager stuff. It's like a farm. There's always something that needs to be done on a drop zone. And I didn't jump nearly as much as I could have and should have. So by the end of the season, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. It's ruining my attitude about the sport. So I said, no, I don't want to be manager. And the next couple years after that, I didn't jump nearly as much, because it was, my attitude was kind of warped. And I didn't quit or anything. I was only making maybe 70 jumps or something a year instead of the usual.